Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be back at Monash. As was just said, I am an alumni and I did my undergraduate law degree here. And it was at that time that I really started my climate journey. I had read a book, Tim Flannery's The Weathermakers, while I was hiking in Tassie and came back to uni and thought, I've got to do something about this climate crisis. But I didn't do anything. I was worried and I was anxious, and I started talking to my friends and family about it. And eventually my sister got so sick of me talking about it that she said, you've got to go and do something about this. You're really driving me crazy. So I got together with a few friends, and we started something that became the Australian Youth Climate Coalition, which some of you may be familiar with, which is all about mobilising young people. And when I got involved, which was in 2005, 2006, we talked about climate change as this future threat. So young people need to be involved because this is a threat to our future. Now I'm in my 40s with young kids, and it is certainly a threat to their future, but it's something that we're all exposed to. You just have to think about a community like Taree or the communities on the Gulf Coast that are experiencing flood after flood after flood. Each one they get told, this is a once in a 50-year event, this is a once in a 100-year event, but it's happening repeatedly. Look at the communities in Western Victoria or in South Australia that are experiencing ravaging drought, the algal bloom in South Australia that has caused havoc to marine life there. The climate crisis is all around us. And as I said, when I started, it was something of a future issue. And companies like Woodside were certainly alerted at that time that their product, coal, oil and gas, would be something that cannot continue forever, that this would need to be phased out because it was so harmful to human existence. This has been true in many other industries. Just think of asbestos, for instance. We found out that this stuff was killing people, so we agreed that we would phase it out. It's the same with fossil fuels. We know that it is killing people. We know it's killing people now, and it will only get worse and worse in the future, and it has to be phased out. Woodside is profiting off the damage that I've described. So those communities in Taree that are experiencing flood after flood, the fossil fuel companies profit every day from their misery. The latest fossil fuel project that was approved on the Northwest Shelf, a Woodside project, will release 4 billion tonnes of climate pollution over its lifespan. And that lifespan goes out to 2070. I mentioned my little kids. I've got a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. And I think about their future and what they would think in 2070 when my son will be maybe just entering his 50s and thinking, what did they do? How did they let that go ahead? But luckily you won't let this go ahead. Universities are a really important place for activism, for engaging young people who tend to drive social movements, and to set a standard in our community about what is right and what is wrong. And Monash has an opportunity to do exactly that in defining the ESG in the same way that we set standards around tobacco or selling weapons or asbestos. Fossil fuels now fall in that same category, and Monash should find as many ways as possible to distance itself from fossil fuel companies and fossil fuel products. So what a great opportunity. Margaret Mead said that never underestimate a small group of people to change the world. It's all that ever have. And in my experience working on climate change over the years, when I started, as I mentioned, 2005, no one even knew that climate change was an issue. Our number one job at the Australian Youth Climate Coalition when we got it started was to say, we've got to go and tell people that there is a problem. Everyone now realises that there is a problem. And when I look back on that sort of 20 years of activism, at the start, there were about 1,000 homes in Australia with solar panels. Now there's 4 million homes with solar panels. Back at that time, there was about 15% of our energy coming from renewables. Now it's 43%. And you know what? At that time when I started, everyone would have said that was impossible. It could not be done. There's no way. But small groups of people across Australia made it happen. And that's what all of you are here to do today. And I'm so proud to have been an alumni of Monash, because this is often the campus where a lot of social change gets incubated. And so I'm really excited to see what you can all do together to make a statement about what is right and what is wrong. Thank you.